volumes, more than 20,000 pages, the word Zoe comes, the term Zoe comes only 8 times and never in a technical way. So never defined, never important, just to say at a certain moment of this illness, the life ends, the patient dies. So no technical, so no attempt of definition, nothing at all, so it's not a technical term. On the contrary, if you take, for instance, Aristotle Politics, just to make an example, there you will see that life acquires a technical Zoe, the concept of Zoe, one of the two recurrent lives, acquires a technical term because it will define the political dimension of the polis, which is grounded specifically on the exclusion of the Zoe. So the Zoe concerns the house, as you know, and while the political life is the bios, etc., etc. So there you have a kind of a technical usage of the concept. So just to say that first, the concept of life is not at all as we used to think, more than something concerning biology, science, etc., etc. But it's more, for instance, a political, after it will become a theological term, etc. So this is the first fact. But more important, the one I wanted to now to consider for a while, and it's an answer to a question that one of you made before, I don't remember now, is that the term life, for instance, in the philosophical tradition, and perhaps also in scientific tradition, let's skip now to philosophical tradition, but perhaps also in philosophical tradition, in a scientific tradition, we will see, is never defined, we never find a definition of what life means, what is its life. But we find, on the contrary, an operation of division of the life. Life is not defined, but always divided. And this, from the origin up to now. Let's take as an original point the treatise on Psyche. Who asked about the Psyche bios? So let's now take the text of the Aristotle treatise on the Psyche, the Anima. Psyche. There, of course, he has to deal with the concept of life, of course. Let's read a passage in which we see what I say. There is no definition, but an operation of establishing caesuras, to be divided. So, it is true life, Zoe, that a living being, Psyche, a being who was a Psyche, so a living being. It is true life that the translation normally uses the animal, differs from what has no soul, the non-animal. So it is true life that we can differentiate what is living and what is not living. But as a Psyche, it is not a Psyche. Now, this term, to live, has more than one sense. This is a characteristic of Aristotle's philosophical strategy. When he has to cope with the problem of defining a very important concept, he will say this term, legetai pollakos, is said in different ways. In what he does, for instance, in metaphysics for the concept of being. It will begin, being legetai pollakos is said in many ways. So first, But then, as being, also the term life is said in many, has more than one sense. In Greek is said in many ways, many senses. And I read here the English translation, and provided anyone alone of this is found, this senses, is found in a being, in a thing, we say that that thing is living. And these things are, we say, thinking, sensation, local movement, quiet, rest, or movement in the sense of nutrition, decay, growth. So you see, it has, the term to live has many senses. To think, to feel, to move, to nourish itself, to decay, to grow. That's why we think of all species of natural being. Here employs a term which can mean plants. The term, the Greek term for plants comes from the same root as physis, nature. Nature in Greek is physis. Plant are phyoma, phytikon, plants or natural being. So that's why we think of all species of plants, as also as living, for they are observed to possess in themselves a principle and a dynamism, a potentiality through which they grow and decay in the opposite direction. Now, besides the moment, so it's looking, so it says, we say that a being is alive, is living, if it has at least one of this meaning. But what is the one of this meaning that will function as the fundamental one? That's his problem. He will choose one of this meaning, and he will make it function as what will determine the attribution of life. And in which way this principle can be separated from the others, but not they from it. So it's looking for one of the meaning of the term living, one of the functions of life, which can be separated from the other, while the others cannot. And he will call this, in his Greek vocabulary, nutritive power, nutritive faculty, triptychon. And it's clear, no, what. Let's now think what is doing now. What is doing there? He will divide life in many meanings. So, nutrition, thinking, sensation, etc., etc. But then he will choose one of these, because this can be separated from the others, and the others cannot. So it's what we call now vegetative life. So it's a life that can be separated from the others, but you cannot separate the others from it, because otherwise the living dies. If you separate this peculiar life, the others cannot stay. But it can be separated, because, as it says, in the plants we find it. So we see that we say that the plants are living, but the plants have only this faculty of growing, nourishing. They don't have thinking, they don't have, etc., etc. The other form, the other sense of the term